Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Van kindsbeen af, met raad en saam, met lyding en hoop, verdriet en saam staan jy staan. Jy is altyd daar. Dit wat ons doen, ons liefdes, ons vreugdes, ons plekke, ons thuistes, tot daar waar ons reis, jy is daar. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groet, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Al verander straatname, al word helde laat val, ons is steeds deur ons adem, ons kultuur, ons verhaal, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. ons bloed is Afrikaans vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sein met 'n boodskap daarby en waar jy is. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed is Afrikaans vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sein met 'n boodskap daarby en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir my mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports on the Wyatt Independent Network. It's a pleasure to have you back once again. Let's do a quick sound check. That's not too bad. All right, so, wow, what a day one, folks. Oh, let's get ready to rumble. The Trumpster is back. Can you believe it? The executive orders are piling out, one after the other, page after page after page of executive orders, overturning the wokeness and destruction of America perpetrated by the corrupt Biden regime for the past 4 years and the wokies for the past 25 years. Oh, my goodness, America's back, and we are bigger than ever. Here it comes, folks. Steamroller. Hey, CR, are you paying attention? Guess what? You didn't get an invite. Cyril Ramaphosa did not get an invitation to the inauguration just as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got so many things to talk about here. You'll pardon me if we spend a lot of time later in the broadcast talking about the executive orders. I just recorded a video, which I need to edit heavily because I kept pausing reading all these executive orders. Wow. I am absolutely stunned and amazed. And the left is melting down. Oh, Elon Musk did a Nazi salute. Oh. Tom Eaton in South Africa. Donald Trump, when he put his hand on the Bible and he was just disappointed it wasn't one of the Bibles he was hawking. Hey, Tom Eaton, buddy, how about writing your columns after the event and stop making up your lies about Donald Trump before the event even occurred? It's pretty obvious that Tom Eaton's op-ed, either number one, he didn't watch the inauguration, or number two, he wrote the piece before the inauguration even happened, which is most likely the case. Telling lies about Donald Trump, about events that hadn't even occurred yet. Oh, I love it. It's fantastic. Why does this side of my mustache want to play mean? It wants to keep curling up and going the wrong direction here. We're going to have to put some glue on there or something. Anyway, unbelievable. Tom Eaton and the leftist Adrien Basson going to be the fact checker. Oh, yeah. Propaganda 24 will be our fact checker now. Yeah, that's going to go very well. The left in South Africa ginning up. I don't know what they're ginning up for. Nothing's happened in South Africa yet, but it's coming down the pipe. It's coming down the pipe, folks. Yeah. South Africa, ironically, the chair of the G20, a group they should not even be involved in. It's a tiny little economy that has virtually no impact on the world. Nobody needs the gold anymore. All you've got that people want is platinum and wine, and we can get wine from Chile or from California, you know, or Germany for that matter, and we can get the platinum from other places. So what are you going on? Let me say hello to everybody in the chat, and we're going to get into talking about today. We do have news on South Africa and a bit from around the world, but a lot of our focus later in the program is going to be on President Trump and all the events unfolding in the U.S. Keith Alderson is in from Coventry. Nick Groves, I know Nick was enjoying this. By the way, my apologies to folks who tuned in on @RealChrisWyatt. And if you were sent there by Ronaldo yesterday, my apologies, but I have no control over that. The PooTube shit storm that is YouTube censored my content. I was showing public domain video and it interrupted my broadcast twice. So we switched to a different source that was Trump's video, which he's allowed people to use. He gave permission for it. And they said, you're using someone else's video. Your video will be blocked until you stop using it. Well, that's BS. That's not copyright claim material. And yes, I'm using someone else's video. Many people are using someone else's video. Do you think all the news programs had their own cameras there? No, most of these news programs are using other people's feeds, whom they have permission from. So just utter nonsense. So I was After being on for nearly 2 hours, my stream was, I had to end it because people couldn't see and all they could do was chat. I ended it and I quickly switched over to Twitter where I don't usually, X, where I don't usually live stream. Had to do that on the fly, make some adjustments. When we first came up, the desktop audio was missing, which means anything that comes across the PC audio-wise gets fed out. And that little mixer wasn't added in, so I had to add that in. I didn't realize initially. So all you were hearing the first minute or so was the speakers from my computer coming over my microphone, and it sounded really bad. So I had to fix that. So my apologies for that, but thanks for those who, please go over to my X account at WMW Chris, CHRIS, over on Twitter. Become a follower over there, and you can watch the inauguration and the events after the inauguration as Trump signed executive orders yesterday. That was pretty exciting. Well, I don't think I got the executive orders on there. Sorry, that one came later. But you can watch it. Edna Faree, welcome to Linda Myberg. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hendo is here. Charles Van Altson, the voice of reason, dropping a bucket. America must be a good place to wake up today. It is a lovely place to wake up today. Charles Van Altson, beautiful sunny day. Yesterday was gorgeous, but freezing. Oh my goodness, we had all that snow on Sunday and then Monday. Oh, guess what? So my co-host, and I'm going to call you out on this Wednesday, my friend, if you're listening. My co-host had told me that he would get me a ticket to the inauguration. That was on Wednesday. Okay, great. So then the weather came in. I didn't hear anything from him, and I didn't want to push it. You know, when someone offers you something like that. And I didn't push it. And then I didn't hear from him, and the weather is coming. I said, well, I guess I'm not going. And so I said, I'll stay home and I won't go. Only to find out, because I thought when they moved it indoors, I wouldn't be able to attend anything. Well, he didn't mention that he had tickets to other events. So he was in the Capitol Center in a luxury box watching President Trump sign those executive orders after the events, the after party, before they went to the ball. And I could have been there. Oh my gosh, I'm not a happy camper. I would have gone for that, but I didn't know. Maybe that's on me. Maybe that's on him. Maybe it's on both of us, but missed out on history. So, oh well, such is life. I've been trying to absorb all of these executive orders since then. Gerarda Steenkamp is here. Smee again is back. Erica is here. Hey, Erica. Diane Humpel. And then Chris Sten, Allison Johnson. Law and order is restored. Well, it's on the path to restoration, but there'll be resistance. The resistance is already kicking in full force. Within minutes of President Trump being inaugurated on a federal holiday when the courthouse isn't even open, the demonic, America-loathing leftist hate wankers filed a lawsuit against Elon Musk and Doge, the creation of Doge, claiming it violates a 1972 law, which frankly violates the executive powers of the President of the United States and the Constitution. So in my view, the 1972 law may be very much unconstitutional. But whatever the case is, they've already started. Tracy Wolf is here. Welcome, Tracy. Tony Noge in from Canada. Mike here from Pennsylvania. Oh, it's a glorious day in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Tom is hunkering down. Snow expected. It's quite cold. It is 12 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about minus 10 Celsius. Ooh. So it snowed Sunday. A lot of snow. I went out and shoveled the snow. Oh my goodness, with my hip, it was difficult to shovel. But I'm very grateful to one of my neighbors who has a snowblower, who saw me shoveling my yard after he finished his, came over and plowed my entire sidewalk, which is about 100 meters of snow. It's a lot of snow. It's about that wide, about 1.5 meters by 100 meters. It's a lot of snow, and 6 inches. So you're talking about quite a bit of snow. So he came through and in about 3 minutes plowed my entire sidewalk down. 2 trips, 8 back and forth, and took care of it. And then I did my driveway and my walkway to the house, and that took care of it. Cleaned off the car, which had a lot of snow on it. And it was very cold out there. Out in my shorts, of course, that's correct, folks. It was minus 12 degrees Celsius, and I was wearing shorts. That's correct. But I did have a cap on to cover my ears and gloves, and my hands were frozen like bricks when I came in. But my feet were fine. Let's see. So then the plows came through yesterday on Inauguration Day and blew all the snow up. And I don't know what they did. They must have got close to my side of the road or something because no one else got it. And about a third of my sidewalk was recovered with about this much snow. So I had to go out and reshovel it yesterday when the temperature was low, when it was freezing. So hopefully that crap melts today, but I doubt it with minus 12 degrees Celsius, minus 11 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold. So unlikely to melt. And my solar power has gone to crap because it's covered with snow. It won't come off. So I've had 5 days of useless snow. So it's going to be the worst month ever for solar at this rate. Anyway, just 10 days left in the month. So, yeah. So when I shoveled that snow again last night, man, my hands were cold when I was done. And the shorts once again. Yeah, all Trump has to do is sort out Keir Starmer. Well, he'll do that. Hunkering down, snow today expected. Well, we don't have snow here, I don't think. Liam Minar, welcome to you. Tony says, ek moet meer Afrikaans praat vir ek vergiet baie ek kan verstaan. Okay. Kristen is there. I said that. And who else we got here? Arctic is here. Welcome, Arctic. Glad to see you have your whiskey in one hand and your cigar in the other. Who's flying the aircraft right now? Shayar says, imagine that, no invite for the squirrel. Yep, that ought to send a message to South Africa very clearly. So many executive orders were signed. So impressed. Trumpster just doing it. Yep. Executive orders only last 4 years and isn't lasting change. That's factually untrue, Holden Caulfield. Executive Order 1.2222, something like that. It's been in effect since 1981. That's an executive order signed by President Reagan for security clearances in the executive branch. Been in effect since 1981, if I'm not mistaken. So executive orders last as long as they're not rescinded by an executive. So your statement's factually incorrect. There is a habit of executive orders only lasting for 4 years. That's true, but many of them last forever. Yeah, so, yeah, there are executive orders that last far longer than 4 years. So, what else we got here? Dave Ranke says, what's this? Leovin's here. Welcome to you. Tom Smith, Wyeth Eskimo Man. Oh, yeah. Cold as a leftist heart in New York today. There you go. Rain coming to Joburg. You're on the unlucky side of the plow. Yeah, I was on the unlucky side of the plow, as it does that. Now, usually it fills in the drive, because it's right up there, and there's a public space, which is grass with trees, a couple trees in it, and where the mailbox is. Between the public space, you got the street, the curb, which is about like that. Then you've got the public space, which is grass. I have to cut that, but it's my property, but it's available to the public. Then you've got the sidewalk, and then you've got my yard. In my driveway runs right down to the street. There's no pavement there, or no green space. It's pavement. So when the plow comes through, the snow goes up into that. Normally, the snow just goes into the green space for the rest of the driveway, but they must have been zipping down the road really fast and just dropped the plow and shot all the stuff up in my yard. In fact, my mailbox was covered in snow, even though I just cleaned the snow off because it was snow thrown onto it by the plow. Anyway, such is life. We shall live. But I'm probably going to get myself a snowblower at some point. Although a pardon is as good as admitting a crime. Trump will be getting writer's cramp. Yeah, he no doubt about it. Sedgefield's back. Good to see a building. Says, what's the federal lump? A Democrat before the stroke? Still a Democrat. He's still a Democrat. Trump mentioned BRICS a lot. He mistakenly mentioned Spain. He did. Yeah, he did mention Spain. So yeah, it's I don't know. That's going to be. They're going to go on and on about that. Joe Biden doesn't know what day it is. He still thinks he's president today, and they're going to worry about Trump saying that. So yeah, Trump was tired. He made a mistake, and it was also kind of snarky and condescending to the journalists who were there. You don't know what BRICS is. You guys know BRICS. BRICS that. So he didn't have to do that, but he was tired. Cartels now recognize a terrorist organization. Yep, we're going to go through all that here in a bit. An order meant screw all unless acted on. Yep. Route planning and directing in a snowplow, says Flashin. Daredevil 31. Guys, I heard some disturbing news, which I hope is a rumor. Apparently there are some groups that are lobbying for self-defense to be removed as a reason for acquiring a firearm. Anyone heard anything? Daredevil, where do you mean disturbing? In South Africa? In America, there's no such thing. That's a state-by-state case. So you'd have to give me a specific state where someone's making that claim. But in South Africa, it could be a national deal. So yeah, in South Africa, I have not heard that, Daredevil. But we've already seen where people have been prosecuted for homicide when they've defended themselves and put in jail. A pardon cannot be rescinded, Charles. It's sacrosanct. A commutation cannot be rescinded. It's sacrosanct. If the president, for federal crimes. There are many state crimes, and that's why Hunter Biden isn't out of the woods. He thinks he's out of the woods. And I would find ways as a state, if, for instance, I would go after, if I was the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, I would prosecute Anthony Fauci for crimes against Pennsylvanians because his orders cost the lives of people. Now, he can argue he's got immunity, but he has immunity from a federal crime. If he committed a crime in Pennsylvania law, then he can be prosecuted. And I think he has committed crimes under Pennsylvania law. So there you go. Shawnee had a birthday yesterday. Oh, why didn't you tell us about that? Or if you did, I missed it. My goodness. Well, happy birthday to Shawnee. Look at that, folks. Somebody should have said something. There's a cake for Shawnee. I hope you like it. Purple's my favorite color. We're loving the purple. Loving the purple. Yes. So lovely. Yes. Yeah, we were all a little busy. You're right, Shawnee. Yesterday. Well, you're not going to forget your birthday. It was the day that freedom was brought back to America. You're very welcome, Shawnee. Green used to be my favorite color when I was a kid because I was a farmer and I loved nature. I wanted to be a forest ranger. But after 36 and a half years in the Army, green is a little less appealing. Charles, if Fauci or Milley violated state law, they can be prosecuted. Yep. They don't have immunity for violating state laws. But that's a very, very sticky ground to go on. So we'll see what happens. But welcome to the 103 people currently here. Thank y'all for being here. Be sure to hit that like button. 49 have done that.
That was easy.
You know, it's interesting because this says we had 194 views. That means that 988 people have been here and left. Why did you leave? What did you not like? Tell me what you wanted. Would you prefer a radio voice? You're listening to WSMN 95.3 on your FM dial, 1590 on your AM dial. Today we're talking about Joe Biden and his incompetency. Anyway, so happy birthday to Shawnee. And in light of your birthday, I thought we should share this too, since you shared it was your birthday. I mean, this is a memorable moment. So let's just talk about it. Here we go.
Outside.
It's just a goat.
No, it's a fucking goat.
No, it's a fucking goat. Mike turned 69. Are you serious? You're just telling me this now? Happy birthday, Mike. Are you 69? I can't believe that. I thought you were 59. I thought you were 59, Mike. Wow. It's a fucking goat. No, baby. It's just a goat. No, it's a fucking goat. Oh, dear God. That's going to get us forever. That child is so adorable. Watch it turn to be, the child will grow up to be some little monster. You watch. No booze. Yep. Joe Biden's still waiting for the ice cream truck. Erica's birthday is too shy because she's missed because she's too shy. Well, folks have to tell me, and it has to be not just one mention. Everybody ignores it. You got to point it out. Sometimes, we're kind of busy here reporting news. This is too loose. I got my haircut. His hat's too loose. I need to tighten it up. By the way, it's pretty cool. This is embroidered on the back. This is a good quality hat. Japan 2019. I like this, one of my favorite hats. Don't wear it often enough. Okay, let's see if that tightens it up a little bit. Okay. I don't have a very big head, apparently. I have big ears, but I don't have a big head. All right, that's a little bit better. That's a little tighter there. All right, cool beans. It was sliding down on my ears. All right, well, let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to talk about these executive orders at some point, too. My goodness. By the way, I found the little grommet for my earpiece. It's gray. These little things here on the end of the earpiece there, they won't fit in the ear. Without that on there, it falls off. The one comes off all the time. Once they get soft, they come off. You got to be careful. I've nearly lost it on a plane. I've nearly lost it in South Africa 2 or 3 times. I nearly lost it in France. Just always very careful. If I forget, that's when it comes off. It was actually laying right here, in front of my stream deck, which I never use. Let me see. What does that say? Hang on a second. I got to see the stream deck. Let me see if that still works. Hang on a second. I can't read that. It's so tiny from here. Hang on a second. Let me see what I put that. Because I set 2 things. I never used it. Yanni promised to help me set up, and he never did. That's pretzel. Okay, that's not going to help. There's nothing there. All that thing does is gather dust. But that's a big one. I bought it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 buttons on it. Ronaldo would be envious to see 15 buttons. He only has 9, I think. But I've never used it. Never used it. All right, so 10 years to run for president. Who, me or you? Marilyn says, you got news. Yeah, we've got news. We're going to talk about it here. 110 people currently here, folks. Be sure to hit that like button. We're up to 62. Bernard says, what's your take on Elon doing the Nazi wave? Left couldn't wait to oh, yeah. No, he didn't do a Nazi wave. He just did this. That's not a Nazi wave. By the way, that puts you in jail in Australia for that. That's just a wave. That's all. He just waved to the crowd over here, These people are nuts. If you go straight forward and rise it up, that's the difference. So, people need to get over themselves. It's comical. They'll find anything. Jasmine Crockett said that Donald Trump in his rally on Saturday said that Elon Musk stole the election. They corrupted machines. What? These people are delusional lunatics. Absolutely lunatics. Yeah, Erica, lose your Stream Decks you can set up by watching YouTube video. Yeah, Arctic, you can do a lot of things. By the way, is Tony's here. Tony in Alberta. I meant to mention this, Tony. So I ordered that part. It came a few days early, and it was still about 17 degrees outside. But I went out and I was able to fix my garage door opener. And as I suspected, the only problem was that nut, that secure nut that goes on the end of it. You put the thread through there. You put a lock washer on here, and you put the nut on, and then you free that lock washer. It pops on there and it locks it in place, and that's what keeps it's a spring, the spring nut. So that was missing, and I guess that's what the problem was. It's in my garage somewhere, who knows where. But I was able to, in the cold, reconnect. It was a little bit of work because I'd open the door, close the door, open the door to get the cable, just because it wasn't free. I didn't find a spot on how to release the motor, or not the motor, the wheel, so it could spin. So I got it together, tightened it up. And then it's been working fine since then. I'm going to keep an eye on that lock washer from now on, though. But Tony, yeah, well done. It is well done because, man, oh man, it's the house is 9 years old now, something like that, going in its 10th year, and things just stopped working. And so that nut just came flying off. I suspect it was never installed properly. The illegal aliens who work for the corrupt company, one of the brothers of whom committed suicide when they were being charged with fraud for embezzling from their own company, right after I bought the house, by the way. They did a piss poor job. The house has never been painted. The wall you see behind me is primer. They never bothered to paint it. And their argument is, well, that's up to the homeowner. Yeah, that's one argument, but most arguments are that you paint at least the main rooms on the ground floor. You leave the bedrooms for that. So, yeah, I've never painted it. My light in the hallway has never been in the driveway has never been connected. They left it unconnected. It was a half-ass effort, and for that I have a massive, monthly mortgage payment. But anyway, such is life. Trump derangement syndrome will be bad the rest of the month. You are correct. You are correct. Thank you, Arctic, for that advice. If you can learn how to fly by watching YouTube. Well, I learned how to fly by playing Microsoft's Flight Simulator. By the way, did I tell you, Arctic? I know I mentioned a long time ago, folks, here. I've actually flown a flight simulator. I've flown a B-52. Yep. When I was at Wurtsmith Air Force Base, which is now closed in Michigan, back in 1988, summer of 88. I was a cadet, went to Wurtsmith Air Force Base on annual training up there in Michigan when I was at Grayling. And I was taken there, and then I got put in the simulator with a pilot, and he sat in the co-pilot seat, and he said, okay, we were already in flight, and we were refueling with a KC-135 tanker at, so many thousand feet, whatever that is, they do that. So we're refueling, and he gave me the controls, and I didn't realize that we were actually flying. I thought it was just, he's like, and then I crashed the plane. I snapped the refueling boom because he just handed it to me like, and we crashed the plane. So then we landed, we reset the whole thing, and I got to fly it properly. So I got to take off. Oh, it was so cool. You're in the plane, you're in the simulator, and that simulator is awesome. They spend millions of dollars for those simulators, B-52. It actually feels like you're flying. I mean, you get that sensation. It doesn't feel fake at all. It's really cool. Yeah, anyway, but I flew it successfully and landed. It was really, really cool. Anyway. Yeah, there's a guy on TikTok who does the Mexican word of the day. Have you ever seen that? That's so funny. That guy's hilarious. He's a Mexican American. Later this year, you can come fly our simulator in Ohio. Then we'll discuss the Shakespeare. Where in Ohio? Because that's an excuse for me to go up and see my sister. And if it's the right time of year, I can go watch the Columbus Blue Jackets as well. I go watch some hockey in Columbus, the Nationwide Center. Yeah, my sister lives in Lancaster. And that's in Columbus. My mom used to live south of Zanesville. JS says, I'm sorry, I usually agree with Chris and I agree with some of Elon's positive actions decisions tonight. That wasn't a Nazi salute. It's cognitive dissonance. No offense. I didn't see the salute. I've just seen the photograph of his arm over like this. It's not cognitive dissonance, yeah. I saw the picture. This is not a Nazi salute. Nazis didn't salute at a 60-degree angle with their right arm. So it was a straightforward sort of thing. So usually they come from here and go straight out like the Romans did. That's what people can talk about Nazi salute. The Romans did this. That's what the Romans did. They just lifted it up. So yeah, it's not cognitive dissonance. I didn't see it. I saw the photograph of it. So anyway, and so what? What if he did it? This isn't Australia. You don't go to prison for making gestures. People need to grow up. I didn't hear Trump whisper, "Help me." I didn't hear him. Exactly, Tony. Watch the whole video. Oh, Edna, how did it feel when it crashed? Oh, we hit the ground hard. It slams you down. When I crashed the B-52, boom! It's like, yeah, no, it was pretty wild. That was a highlight, man. I haven't forgotten that. And, you know, I'd never been to Wurtsmith Air Force Base, and I've never been there again. I don't think it exists anymore. They got rid of it, part of the drawdown, the base realignment program. They got rid of Wurtsmith Air Force Base, to my knowledge. But, wow, what a great experience. The guy that decided to take us over there that day from Grayling was pretty cool. Yeah, I'll never forget it. That was a fantastic, gosh, my goodness, how time flies. The summer of 1988. Well, I was watching a TikTok over the weekend of big hits from 84, and I shared it in some of the groups. Man, 1984 had the best music ever. All the songs, all the hits, it was incredible. He touched his heart and sent it to the people. Pick is the end. So pathetic. Exactly, Bernard. Tony says, I don't crash. Okay. Is your other account okay? No, I didn't get banned, Freelance Kate. That's the thing. There wasn't even a copyright claim. There wasn't even a copyright claim for that video. It's just ridiculous. Tottenham says it was a Nazi salute. I will not be gaslit. The danger is shown in his face early. Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Okay, Tottenham, let me know. When would you like to be rounded up? And which camp would you like to go? Which star are you going to wear? It looks like you've got some sort of mixed bisexual gay pride flag. I can't see it. Your avatar is this big on my screen. Are you preparing to be rounded up like the Nazis? The Nazis not just didn't only put Jews, but communists, socialists, aristocrats, Catholics, homosexuals, and mixed-race Germans into concentration camps, along with the Sinti people and others. So yeah, so are you ready are you gonna get rounded up there? Are you one of the people gonna be rounded up by Elon Musk? Oh, I see. You're scared. Yeah, 1984 Rock Band, 85 was back. 85 was pretty incredible. I agree. But 84 was just awesome. Awesome. All right, folks. Eagles, Doobie, Chicago. Yeah, definitely. They'll never find you. Oh, Tottenham, trust me, brother. I worked in the intelligence community. We can find anybody, except the people they want to find. If they want to find you, they can't find you. 80s music was okay. 70s. Oh, Alan's just showing his age. People forgot that Don Trump ran the damn country for 4 years. No one got around. Exactly, Bernard. I mean, this is so comical. Just like he's going to be a fascist dictator. Oh, he's going to round people up. The guy was president for 4 years. What did he do? He ended wars. He ended war in Afghanistan, ended war in Iraq. He ended he wiped out ISIS in Syria and ended that war. He ended wars all over the world. He prevented North Korea from launching nuclear weapons over the Sea of Japan. He ended wars everywhere. He brought global peace. The Abraham Accords, the most historic peace agreement in the past century. He brought peace. The one thing he didn't do was balance the budget. That's for sure. Yeah, and they didn't round homosexuals up. His cabinet was full of homosexuals. His cabinet was full of black people. His cabinet was full of women. This time there aren't many black folks in it, so maybe they'll start crying about that. Funny enough, I did get questioned a lot more at customs this morning than usual. Oh, did you just come back, Arctic? You're back? Maybe at least address this, ignoring what we saw is crazy. I just did address it, Tottenham. Would you like me to address it in some other way? Would you like me to make a video on it? Give me your feedback on that. Because it means nothing to me. It's irrelevant. It's silly. It's like talking about Joe Biden at this point. It's just silly. But we'll do some silly things. Drive anything, 18-wheelers, bicycle. No. Wow. 18-wheelers. That's incredible, Leah. Wow. Okay. Let's get to the news, folks. And thanks to the 132 people currently here, we are going to talk about all these executive orders. So you got to be patient for that. But we got some solid news. Good news from Plettenberg Bay. That scumbag who attacked the elderly couple at 5:18 in the morning was arrested the day afterwards. Just now making the news. Yep. And we're going to mention that story here very quickly. So, yeah. Police have arrested the man accused of robbing and violently attacking an elderly married couple in Plettenberg Bay last week. She was hospitalized but has been discharged. She had a broken arm, if I recall correctly. Police made an arrest. Western Cape Police spokesman Captain F.C. Van Vyk said a 27-year-old Cole Berniers was arrested the day after the attack in Colwani, Plettenberg Bay. He was arrested on Wednesday night about 21:30. He will appear in court once charged. Both victims were discharged from hospital. Police said the accused made his first appearance at the magistrate's court on Friday, and the case was postponed for bail information. Why do all these cases make it on the docket in South Africa? They go to court, and every single case is postponed. What's the point of going to court? Why don't you just have a clerk that does whatever you're doing there and not waste the court time? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. South Africa's police have launched a manhunt, and no South African media had reported on that story. I had to get it from the Voice of America. For the gang leader of the Stilfontein event in Buffelsfontein gold mine. South African police have launched a manhunt for a Lesotho gang member believed to have controlled operations at the gold mine where 78 bodies were recovered. The alleged kingpin known as Tiger surfaced from the mine while it was under police surveillance and escaped from custody with the help of officials. Extensive investigations, tracing operations are underway to find those officials who aided his escape between Shaft 11 and the Stilfontein police holding cells. Police were widely condemned for the months-long operation. Well, they weren't widely condemned. No, the police were not widely condemned. They were condemned by the people who were selling stuff to the illegal miners in that community. They were condemned by the media, but most South Africans didn't condemn them for the operation. This is a misleading story from Reuters shared on Voice of America. A witness shot dead outside the court where he was due to testify in a murder trial. A man was shot and killed outside the Lenasia Magistrates Court in Joburg this morning where he was anticipated to give evidence. Deceased man and another man he was standing with were witnesses in the El Dorado murder part case, which is before the court. Spokesman for the South African Police Service, Lieutenant Colonel Mavela Masonda, has confirmed the murder. He can confirm the person was shot and killed this morning is a witness in the case of murder. Case was set for trial today, so information that we got is that two witnesses in this case were standing outside the court when they were accosted by two armed suspects, armed men who started shooting at them without saying a word. Manhunt's underway. They opened fire on a vehicle, killing. Wow, this is insane. This is insane. Oh my goodness. I'm drawing blanks here today. Kingpins are not going to ground. That's middle management. Yeah, I agree, Alan. I agree. Okay. Not closing eye when Nazis show up. We sound like lovely people. Nazis. He's still going on about that. Well, Kinene is upset from the Patriotic Alliance is going to have some issues going on here. A clap back from Kinene after Malema sues him over drug use and cigarette smoking remarks. The EFF, desperate for attention, now attacking the Patriotic Alliance. EFF leader Julius Malema has filed a defamation case against Patriotic Alliance Deputy President Kenny Kinene. Malema says comments Kinene made at a rally last year that he was working for Adriano Mazzotti and got drugs from the Nigerians were vexatious, spurious, misplaced, and untrue. Wow. Those are some big words for Juju. Vexatious, spurious, misplaced, and untrue. Juju. When people zol, they roll the zol. Then they share the zol. Kenny Kinene, man, and he's also brushing off threats from the South African Human Rights Commission case. Malema is an enemy of South Africans. He's a lover of illegal foreigners, says Kenny Kinene. Whoa. Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Kinene says he's not fazed by the FF's threats to report him to South African captured Human Rights Commission over his recent remarks regarding illegal foreign miners. This controversy surrounds Kinene's post on social media in which he suggested that illegal miners should be slaughtered, skinned, and hung to dry like animals. Yeah, that was a bit over the top. Yeah. Let's see what he's got to say.
Patriots, South Africans, you might have been aware that the rascal leader, Julius Mamina Malema, has taken out a statement through his cult that they are threatening to take me to the Human Rights Commission when I air our views and our manifesto point that those who do treason to our country must face death penalty.
Now, isn't it ironic that Kenny Kinene has a Hadida on the fence line? Look at that. Look behind him. There's a Hadida. The only time they don't open their mouths. Look at that damn bird back there, not making any noise.
I am not fazed by the actions of Malema. He has showed in many times, on many occasions, that he is a lover of illegal foreigners. He is a lover of illegal foreigners. He protects illegal foreigners. These illegal foreigners who are mining our gold underground illegally, when they come out of the underground like rats, they go and rape young South Africans. They rob.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Will the media turn on Kenny Kunene? Is he South Africa's Donald Trump? The illegal Zabas, they come out, they rape our girls, they steal our gold. The only time I've ever seen a Hadida in South Africa that was silent. This guy's powerful. Kenny Kunene can silence the Hadidas. My God. Aidez-moi. It's too much. All right, I'll do a video on that one. I don't know about the Nazi salute, but I'm definitely doing a video on Kenny Kunene and Julius Malema. This is funny. My goodness. Well, the electric slide minister, you can do it. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Koji Sensor Rabakopa is at the World Economic Forum, and he's telling the world, the rich countries, that you got to help Africa. You got to help us, man. You got to help us. It's desperate here. We need some money. I realize that's a Southern accent. It does apply to Africa. But, if I did an African accent, I'd be accused of being a racist. You're a racist, man. Hey, you're a racist. All right. So the energy minister was a panelist discussing geoeconomics of energy and materials at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where the rich fly and release carbon dioxide. African countries need political stability to attract investors, but elections like Mozambique's, where there was a bit of tension, a bit of tension. Koja Center Ramakopa, Mozambique is a bit of tension. Dozens of people dead. Police repression. A stolen election. Well, that's a bit of tension in Mozambique. This guy's comical. We've seen that there's been a number of elections that have taken place on the continent. And there, by many accounts, they tend to be free and fair with the exception of Mozambique, where there's a bit of tension. Whoa, there's more than a bit of tension in Mozambique. And there's also a stolen election in Namibia, Zimbabwe, all in Southern Africa. And on top of that, you have military juntas that illegally overthrow the governments of Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, and a few years back, Mauritania, but that's back to restored democratic order. Yeah, Chad. I forgot about Chad. Yeah, let's talk about that one, their fake election. Wow. Koja Sensor Ramakopa seems to have a bit of cognitive dissonance when begging for money from the rich countries. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so let me just do this right now. Let me jump in, interfere with this. So we have 127 people here, and we have a couple people acting like asses in the chat. Arctic has said, easy now. No attacking other people in chat. So stop it. Finished and Clark. No more stupidity. Stop attacking each other. If you're going to attack, you're going to get a timeout, and I don't want to hear your feelings are hurt, okay? Arctic, let loose. Hendo, let loose. Erica, if you can manage it, let loose. No, Erica, don't do it. You always fumble with your keyboard, and you give the wrong people timeouts. So any more nonsense, and don't come with this time. We know who the usual suspects are. So when you get spanked, give them a 5-minute timeout first time and see if they learn, okay? All right? You're on notice. You're on notice. Well, Tony, you block someone, but you're not a moderator. Moderators can take them out. Ooh, Arctic's fingers, trigger fingers itching. All right, there you go. There's the first one. Timeout right there. I see one right now. There's a timeout. There's a timeout. All right, so can't even get through the news. Fikele Mbalula. What's wrong with my pronunciation? Sounds great. Mbalula. Sounds like a Disney movie. Mufasa. Yes. Fikele Mbalula defends Nchaveni as the government national unity partners call for her to step down. Ooh, the minister in the presidency, the failed defense minister, the corruption accused Kumbudzo Nchaveni, is in a lot of hot water here. There's nothing about Nchaveni that we need to respond to at the present moment, except that there are reports that the Hawks have finalized a report about alleged corruption. It ends there. Oh, Fikele. Well, that's the wrong one. That was supposed to be this. Yeah, that's sorry about that, folks. Yeah, got so combobulated. Sounds like a movie. It does sound like a movie. Yes. The ANC. There's nothing about Nchaveni. These people are undermining the integrity of state institutions and the rule of law. The principles of our jurisprudence are being undermined, And we don't agree to that. If anyone has a case against anybody, why leak it to the media and try people through the media? Wow. So Fikile Mabalula is accusing the Hawks of undermining the rule of law. Look, the Hawks they can't hold a candle to the Scorpions. The Scorpions were incredible. I didn't like the Scorpions. I don't like extrajudicial sort of bodies, but they were honest. They were legitimate. They did what they were supposed to do, and that's why they were taken away by the corrupt ANC, because they were uncovering ANC corruption. We can't have that. So they replaced them with the Chicken Hawks, which over time have actually become much more effective at doing their job. So that's why they're now a target of the ANC, because they're becoming too effective. Yeah. Well, informal settlement residents in Joburg say, hey, we are going to put up these illegal connections regardless of what you do. So these are criminals. Let's be clear about this. All right. Some residents of the Princess Informal Settlement in Vitpoortjie, Johannesburg, have audaciously stated city power's efforts to curb illegal power connections are futile. Tabang Kumalo and his neighbor Mandla Sibanda looked on as city power officials accompanied by the police, Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, and security officers dismantled unlawfully connected cables supplying their shacks. The cables were tapped into a nearby city power substation intended to serve neighboring households. City power spokesperson Isaac Mangena and said Vitpoortjie was affected by load reductions due to illegal connections. Kumalo and Sibanda confidently declared the illegal power would be restored to their shacks by the end of Tuesday. You need between 100 and 200 rand for people to illegally wire your home. This is a wasted exercise. They have raided us repeatedly over the past 2 years. They disconnect, and within hours, we reconnect. We refuse to live in darkness when there's a substation nearby. We will continue with illegal connections until the municipality provides legal electricity. You are illegally occupying land. You do not get connections. Go back to where you came from. Unbelievable. So Ramaphosa is finding himself necessary to defend his actions in going to the inauguration of the president of Mozambique, who the ANC is very chummy with. President Ramaphosa justified his decision to attend the inauguration of new Mozambican President Daniel Chapo, whose election was marred by allegations of rigging and public violence. The DA in the government national unit criticized Ramaphosa for attending the event on the 16th of January. Here it is a week later, and he's still defending himself. By the way, folks, we were talking about the murder of a witness earlier. Babita Deokaran. Say her name. Babita Deokaran. Gunned down callously by thugs after she exposed ANC corruption. Well, be careful out there, folks. If you live in South Africa, there's apparently a new scam related to Starlink. South Africans desperate for internet connectivity in rural areas should be aware of a new suspected scam operation claiming to sell Starlink kits and hardware that can mask users' locations from the internet service provider. In recent weeks, numerous Facebook users on South African Starlink community groups have asked about the legitimacy of Star Connect, one unofficial yet proven distributor of Starlink kits in South Africa. iCast Sapush approached My Broadband to raise its concerns as it had been inundated with queries about the entity. The company looked into some key characteristics of Star Connect's activities and found red flags that strongly suggest that it is a scam. Wow. So be careful out there, folks. Star Connect. Don't get cheated. All right. Well, some good news from South Africa. Say her name. That's right. There you go. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for your membership, 35 months. Say her name, Babita Deokaran. That's correct. Babita Deokaran. So here's some good news. She grew up in Mitchell's Plains and didn't know anything about wine. And now she is South Africa's Winemaker of the Year. Congratulations to a young lady from the Cape Flats. Kiara Scott Farmer only saw a wine farm for the first time when she started studying. She's from Mitchell's Plains, became the youngest female head winemaker in South Africa at the age of 26. Now at the age of 32, she's achieved a career high. She was named Diners Club Winemaker of the Year for 2024. Wow. Making fine wines for the South African public has been the furthest thing from Kiara Scott Farmer's reality when she was growing up in Mitchell's Plains. Little to know, she was destined to become the youngest female head winemaker just 5 years after graduating. And last November, she achieved a career high, winning the Diners Club Winemaker of the Year for the 2022 Brookdale Old Vine Chenin Blanche. Wow. What a surreal moment. It doesn't feel real. This morning, I looked at the head in the kitchen, the trophy, and it was just like, what? I still can't believe it because it's been 2 months since we won, but I say we because I can't do it without my team. It's very special. So congratulations. Here she is receiving her award, Winemaker of the Year. Pretty awesome for a girl from Mitchell's Plains. Congratulations. She studied at the Elsenburg Agricultural Training Institute in Stellenbosch. She hadn't been to Stellenbosch or even seen a wine farm until she got to the institute. After that, she joined the Cape Winemakers Guild protege program. It was after that that she landed her first job as assistant winemaker at Savage Wines, working with her first mentor, Duncan Savage. Wow. And from there, she moved on. She moved on to be the head winemaker at Brookdale Wines in Parle, where she became the youngest female head winemaker in 2019 at the age of just 26. Congratulations. Well done to Kiara Scott Farmer. Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. All right, the Democratic Republic of Congo says rebels have seized an eastern town on a critical supply route. The M23 rebels have seized the eastern town of Minova. It's on the main route to Goma, regional capital. The Tutsi-led M23 group is still wreaking havoc across the eastern Congo. Nigeria has hiked the fees for mobile phones 50%. Wow. Nigeria's most populous nation of Africa has hiked its mobile tariffs by 50%, the first increase in over a decade following lobbying efforts by MTN amid currency pressures and elevated inflation. Nigerian Communications Commission said on Monday that it will be granting approval for the tariff adjustment request by network operators in response to prevailing market conditions. The adjustment capped the maximum 50% of current tariffs, which is lower. So rates for mobile phone usage will climb in Nigeria. At least 98 people died after gasoline tanker blast in central Nigeria. Nigeria's emergency agency said the death toll from the weekend gasoline tanker explosion in north-central Niger state has risen to 98. Explosions killed dozens who converged on a crashed tanker truck to scoop up spilled fuel have been common in Nigeria for years, and the problem is only becoming worse. Wow. So this happens all the time in Nigeria when these trucks, sometimes they crash on their own, sometimes they crash intentionally, and people rush to steal the fuel, and then it blows up. What does PM stand for? Post-morning Prime Minister. Take your pick. It has lots of different meanings. Nigeria has joined BRICS as an associate member. Yep. Nigeria announced on the weekend it formally joined BRICS as a full partner. Well, now it's a full partner. It said it was an associate member previously. It had previously been a partner rather than a full member. Having now formally entered the bloc, it has big plans to exploit membership. But exploit them how? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, BRICS is a joke. There is no BRICS. Where's the treaty? Where are the mutual benefits? Is there reciprocity when it comes to travel? Is there no visa entry for BRICS members? Are there trade benefits? Are there reduction, elimination tariffs? No, none of that's true. Is there a mutual defense pact? No. Is there an economic agreement? No. Is there a scientific agreement? No. There's nothing in BRICS except bullshit. 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 Well, folks, the Olympics were in Paris. Remember that? Ooh, baby. Guess what? The medals are shite. The luxury manufacturer LVMH, Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, made the medals. They were all over, pouring champagne, doing all these things. And their medals suck. They're tarnished and falling apart just days after the Olympics. The medals were designed by a jewelry maker owned by the French luxury conglomerate, which has declined to comment on their deterioration. There's Antoine Arnault, an executive showing off the Olympic medals last year. Rarely in Olympic history has a single company been so ubiquitous as LVMH, Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, the luxury goods empire owned by France's richest family. At the Paris Olympics, they were the biggest corporate sponsor. They were everywhere. Champagne flowed in VIP suites. French athletes were clothed in their Berluti fashion house. Yeah, and in contravention of at least the spirit of the Olympic Games charter, Louis Vuitton luggage was trotted out during the opening ceremony and seen by more than 1 billion people worldwide. But perhaps the most significant role involved the Olympic medals, which were designed by Chaumet, a luxury jewelry and watchmaker part of the group. Gold, silver, and bronze, the very best athletes would take home with them as mementos of their feats. Now those medals are falling apart, and LVMH has fallen silent. In just over 100 days since the Olympics closed, more than 100 athletes have asked for their crumbling medals to be replaced. Wow. Nick Nicklin, a U.S. Olympic foil fencer, said his bronze medal started to deteriorate a few days after the Olympics. But after like a few weeks, it got more noticeable, adding he planned to ask for replacement. There you go. There's his medal. Look at that. Look at how tarnished and hideous it looks right after the Olympics. Only the cloth band is still in good condition. Look at that. How horrible. Medals have had to be replaced in other Olympics, notably in Rio, but no previous Olympics has a company stamped its brand credentials so prominently. Seems to be most cute with the bronze medals, for which athletes first started flagging shortly after receiving them. Wow. So there's the gold, silver, and bronze medals there. But you can see that's what it looks like when it's not tarnished. Each medal took 15 days to complete, from stamping out the design to dipping it in gold, bronze, and silver, and then finishing it with a coat of varnish. So when one athlete posted photos of bronze medal rusting last week, just weeks after the games, the Mint began an internal inquiry to understand the circumstances and cause of the damage. They discovered the varnish used to prevent oxidation was defective. Its varnish recipe was a trade secret, but the coating was weakened after the Mint changed it to conform with recent European Union regulations banning use of chromium trioxide. So that's why the environmentalists are responsible for the metals being tarnished. The environmentalists are responsible for the metals being tarnished. The European Union regulations banning the use of chromium trioxide, which would have kept it from rusting. Hey, Wooter, how's it going? Well, is CapCut back? TikTok's back, folks. We showed that when it went down. We were online. We showed that it was gone. And then when it came back, we said it came back. Hang on a second. What's this? Mike sent me a note. What's this? Fetterman's not wearing shorts yet. Freezing weather. That's because all Fetterman has is shorts. You can't fit in anything else. So TikTok is back.
Right there, wow. Holy crap.
This is to be the craziest Simpsons prediction of all time.
That actually has to be the hardest English word. That took me so much time to learn it.
So yeah, TikTok is back, but CapCut, the editing tool, which I've never figured out. I got to be honest, I had a hard time figuring that one out on my phone. CapCut is not. What's going on? Why is CapCut not back? What's going on, TikTok? Nearly a day after TikTok was restored in U.S. users in a dramatic game of chicken with the federal government, another popular service owned by China-based ByteDance is still dark. CapCut, the video editing app used by many TikTok creators, has remained inaccessible in the U.S. as of yesterday. Visitors were greeted with a message explaining that CapCut has been swept up in the same law. There you go. But they're working to get it restored. So CapCut wasn't available as of yesterday. Well, folks, climate change. Festerman, that's a good name. Uncle Fester, Festerman. Climate change. We've talked about it. The climate's always changing. The Earth's perturbations in its rotation on an axis, on an angle around the sun, spinning as it goes around the sun, days and nights and seasons. Yes, and solar flares, spitting out the ions at us. Yeah. Well, we've had the Little Ice Age, the Main Ice Age. We've had the polar caps expand all the way down to where I'm sitting right now. The polar ice caps were just a few miles from here in New York. Yeah, just a few thousand years ago. Well, melting ice has revealed millennia-old forest buried in the Rocky Mountains. So the polar ice caps have been covering forest that's 5,900 years ago. So 5,900 years ago, the Earth was warmer and there was less ice. But they're losing their minds over this. So here you go. Trees dating back almost 6,000 years have come to scientists' attention due to ice melting in the Rocky Mountains. So 6,000 years ago, there was no ice there. There was a forest there. The trees were growing. Well, there's no forest now. It's too cold. But they were growing there 6,000 years ago. All right. So, the 5,009-year-old white bark pine forest has been discovered due to melting alpine ice in the Rocky Mountains. Scientists found more than 30 trees approximately 3,100 meters above sea level, 180 meters higher than the present tree line, while carrying out archaeological survey on the Beartooth Plateau in Wyoming. This offers a window into past conditions at high elevations. White bark pine don't grow at this elevation now, so these ones had to grow at a time when the climate was warmer. Oh. So the climate was warmer 5,900 years ago than it is today. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Yes. There you go. There you go. Israel's military chief has resigned. Resignation of Lieutenant General Herzi Halavi comes the first week of a phased ceasefire with Hamas. Israel's military leader said he would resign, citing the army's failure to protect the country on October 7th. Well, gee, you waited a long time, buddy. On the morning of October 7th, the Israeli military under my direction failed its task to defend the citizens of Israel. He wrote in a resignation letter, adding that he had come to the decision long ago. He said he was choosing to leave at a time when the military has made significant achievements in the process of implementing the agreement to release our hostages. It also comes after months of disagreements with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over how to handle the war. Within the military has been a growing suspicion that Halevi would either be fired or resign as the pace of fighting slows. Halavi, along with other senior military and intelligence officials, have been blamed for failing to see that Hamas was planning a large attack on Israel, despite mounting evidence, including simulations that were visible to army observers along the borders. Yep, exactly. Well, the Bank of Queensland has closed 14 branches, and this is what's coming to a neighborhood near you. Banks shutting down their branches to force you to go digital so that thieves can steal your money more easily. The state-based bank is the latest financial institution to close its physical branches. 14 branches to a cashless online banking so they can give you credit scores and prevent you from participating in economics. The Bank of Queensland is set to shut 14 branches across 4 states as it steadily moves towards cashless online banking. Impacted branches in Monterey Ponds, Docklands, Hampton, Richmond, and Victoria, Bella Vista, Newton, Rockdale, and New South Wales, Carringdale, Caloundra, Eleanora, Springwood, Sherwood, and Toowong in Queensland, and Applecross in Western Australia. They said it's to simplify their operations. No, it's to drive you into a cashless society. That's what it's all about. We're getting closer to the Trump stuff, folks. Hang on, we're almost there. Landslides have killed at least 17 in Indonesia's Java Island. 8 more people are missing. Indonesian rescuers recovered the bodies of at least 17 people who were swept away in flash floods or buried under tons of mud and rocks that hit hilly villages on the country's main island of Java. Torrential rains on Monday caused rivers to burst their banks, tearing through 9 villages. Oof. Thoughts and prayers to those in Indonesia. Well, North Korea slammed Japan's effort to cozy up to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Tokyo is upgrading its security partnerships in the East and in the West. North Korea, fighting alongside Russia and Ukraine in its first major conflict since the Korean War, adopted its allies' tone in lambasting warming Japanese ties to NATO. Japan set up its independent mission in NATO at a time when the security environment in the East Asia-Pacific region is more seriously threatened due to the U.S.'s provocative military hegemony. The U.S.'s provocative military hegemony. We're not provocative. China's provocative. The U.S.'s military hegemony is non-existent. We have shrank in the Asia-Pacific region. Wow. Unbelievable. Europe's leaders congratulate Trump. Some, anyway. Yep. Leaders across the continent have welcomed Trump's return as the 47th president. Speaking for the European Union, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen took to social media to send the organization's best wishes. The EU looks forward to working closely with you to tackle global challenges. Together, our societies can achieve greater prosperity and strengthen their common security. This is the enduring strength of the transatlantic partnership. Ursula von der Leyen, it's not your society. It's Spain, Denmark, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Czech Republic, Germany, Italy. You get the message. It's not your society. It's dozens of societies and the United States. Stop it. There's no one government for the European Union. That's the mistake. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said the U.S. is our closest ally, and the aim of our policy is always a good transatlantic relationship. But you haven't acted as if you're our closest ally. You've acted in bad faith with the United States, except for Joe Biden's war in Ukraine. There you're in lockstep. So let me check on my solar if it's doing anything now. No, still hasn't got the snow off. The head of the bloc's largest economy, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, who was in Washington, said, "I'm certain the friendship between our nations, the values that unite us, will continue to strengthen collaboration between Italy and the USA." Outside the EU, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer congratulated. He said, "For centuries, the relationship between our two nations has been one of collaboration, cooperation, and enduring partnership is a uniquely close bond." Yeah, but you invaded our country. So we haven't forgotten that. It was a close bond. Obama broke it, and we need to restore it. So you got to go, and then we can restore it. And then Emmanuel Macron, and then beyond that, Viktor Orban, Poland, Spain, Ireland, Austria, Denmark, all sent the greetings to Trump. Yeah, so at least 66 people are dead and 51 others injured in a horrific hotel fire at a ski resort in Turkey. Man, firefighters worked to extinguish a fire at a hotel ski resort of Kartalakaya in the Bolu province. Wow, look at that. A fire in a 12-story hotel at a popular ski resort in Turkey on Tuesday killed at least 66 people. We're in deep pain. We have unfortunately lost 66 lives in the fire that broke out at this hotel. Health Minister Kemal Memisalogu said at least one of the injured was in serious condition. 17 other people have been discharged after being treated. There were 238 registered guests. The fire was reported at 3:27 in the morning. The government appointed 6 prosecutors to lead an investigation into the blaze. 6 prosecutors. They're taking that seriously. Wow. Donald Trump, we're finally there, folks. Let's see how many people are still left to watch the show at this point. We're finally there. It took an hour to get to this. 112 people here right now. We had 123. So some people left. Sorry to see that. Maybe one of the persons who I gave a timeout to. By the way, in case you're wondering, Tottenham, I gave Tottenham a 10-minute timeout. I got tired of the nonsense. So, and the rest of you were on notice there. Tracy said, my niece won a bronze medal in Paris. Allegedly, the medals were going to be worth a lot by adding a piece of the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, they're getting new medals now. Congratulations to your niece, Tracy. Without telling us what sport she won in. That's incredible. Can I meet her? Is she a hottie? Just asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. Anyway, athletes tend to be physically fit, so I'm just saying. unless they're doing the Roo. Do the Roo. Ray gun. Do the Roo. Breakdancing. I could have qualified for the Australian breakdance team. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Arctic is the friend. Nick is the friend. Tracy, look what you started. Holden Caulfield said the Olympics are an excuse to traffic people. If you say so, man. If you say so. Oh, my goodness. Okay, back to the news here, folks. So Donald Trump, here we go. Let's get to it. All the executive orders and all the news. Here we go. All right, so Donald Trump kicks off his administration with January 6 pardons and sweeping orders. He capped off day one in office with a raft of executive actions, including on the border, energy, economy, and the federal workforce. There it is, Donald John Trump signing. That's the signature that's on my retirement letter. Looky there, Donald Trump, man, signed a whole bunch of executive orders. So let's go on from there. Trump reverses Biden's woke policies and bolsters energy production and pardons January 6 defendants. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, here we go. Biden preemptively pardons his family and General Milley, as well as Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fraud. President Joe Biden Monday issued an extraordinary slate of preemptive pardons for prominent critics of President-elect Donald Trump, as well as the January 6th committee. So this is bogus use of the pardon. These people have never been charged with a crime, and it is unacceptable, but there's nothing we can do about it. So Joe Biden proves the criminal cabal that he is. Well, meanwhile, Trump is firing people left and right. Yeah. Girl, you know it's true. Sorry, Arc Precision said Milli Vanilli. It got me into Milli Vanilli mode there. Oh, my goodness. You know what? We should be playing Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Donald Trump is back. It's a Return of the Mac. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, folks. The the Southern guy, man, yeah. Oh, from the pine forest of Georgia to the forest of Michigan, from the streets of New York to Los Angeles, free at last, from the old slave song. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, old slave hymnals. Now, he was brilliant, man. Well, the rabbi was good too, but he was a show stealer. That guy's incredible. Let freedom ring. Yep, no doubt about it. Trump is firing people left and right. It's like watching The Apprentice, all the episodes combined into a single day. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Oh, my goodness, man. Young man, there's a place you can go. It's called the unemployment line. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Let's start with the first one here. Trump sacks the Coast Guard chief over failure to address border security threats. The commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard has been fired hours after Trump became president. Admiral Linda Lee Fagan, 61, was sacked after officials claimed there had been erosion of trust over her border security and recruitment brief. The experienced head officer, who was the Coast Guard's first female four-star admiral, was appointed by ex-President Joe Biden in 2022. She had also previously served as the vice commandant of the Coast Guard and commander of the Coast Guard Pacific area. Trump took office. The acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Benjamin Huffman, made a quick decision to sack her. The broadcaster, Fox News, cited a source from the Department of Homeland Security, said the administration was not impressed with her failure to address border security threats. She's out. She's out. DEI takes a major hit. DEI takes a major hit as Admiral Fagan is gone. Trump has ordered the termination of the electric vehicle mandate, the scumbag, illegal Biden mandate that violates the law. President Donald Trump ordered the removal of incentives for electric vehicles and promoted market choice for consumers as part of executive orders issued on his first day. In the Unleashing American Energy order signed on January 20th, Trump said that the burdensome and ideologically motivated regulations have impeded the development of America's abundant energy resources, limited the generation of reliable and affordable electricity, reduced job creation, and inflicted high energy costs upon our citizens. In conjunction with the issue of the electric vehicle mandate will be eliminated and true consumer choice will be promoted, along with removal of regulatory barriers to motor vehicle access according to the order. Yes. Maybe we can get rid of the cafe standards too. That would be nice. Well, the first 2 January 6 hostages or political prisoners have been released. They have been released, folks. 2 men who never even entered the Capitol building. There you go. 2 brothers convicted in connection to January 6 Capitol Hill events became the first of the rioters to be freed Monday after Trump signed the pardons. Andrew and Matthew Valentine from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, were released from the Central Detention Facility in D.C. just before midnight. Administration officials announced outside the jail, adding that Elon Musk was the mastermind behind their sudden freedom. The first 2 January 6 defendants have been released a few hours after Trump signed the pardons. The injustice of any American tonight and this dark chapter in our country's history is coming to an end. Wow. Justice Department criminally charged 1,583 people in connection with the riot, which broke out after Trump while serving his final days in office. Matthew Valentine pled guilty in September to 2 felony counts of assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers and faced up to 8 years in prison. His younger brother, Andrew Valentine, pled guilty to 1 felony count of the same charge, as well as 1 felony count of assaulting, resisting, impeding certain officers with a deadly or dangerous weapon. He faced 28 years behind bars. Neither one of them entered the Capitol building, but both were involved in scuffles with law enforcement officers outside. Matthew violently grabbed an officer's neck and sprayed a chemical irritant towards officers, while Andrew hurled a chair at officers, striking one. So the guy threw a chair at a police officer and was going to get 28 years in prison. Dr. Fauci killed hundreds of thousands of Americans, and he's free. Trump has withdrawn from the World Health Organization. Woo! Big news. Signed the World Health Organization's mishandling of COVID-19 pandemic and other global health crises as reasons for the withdrawal. The newly inaugurated President Trump issued an executive order withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization and halting funding to the United Nations body. That will be devastating to the World Health Organization, which relies on U.S. funding. We were a major funder for the WHO, and without that money, they're going to be in trouble. The Trump administration has quickly removed top immigration officials. The firing suggests that Trump and his allies are seeking change in how asylum claims are processed by removing these officials. The Justice Department Monday removed 4 top officials from the agency that operates the U.S. immigration courts, according to people familiar with the matter. The 4 people involved were all part of the Executive Office for Immigration Review. Among the first to be fired was Sheila McNulty, Chief Immigration Judge. Also fired were Mary Cheng, Acting Director, Executive Officer of Immigration Review, Lauren Alder-Reed, Head of Policy for the office, and Jill Anderson, the office's General Counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's clear that Donald Trump beats women. He beat Hillary Clinton, he beat Kamala Harris, and now he fires 4 women over immigration. Isolationist behavior is why we have North Korea. No, Tottenham finest. The reason we have North Korea is because of the end of the Second World War. The Korean Peninsula was divided after it was liberated from Japanese occupation between Soviet forces in the north and U.S. forces in the south. UN force, I should say. So it was divided. And the reason we have a divided Korea is because the Koreans launched a war against themselves when Kim Il-sung crossed the border and invaded South Korea, driving everyone back. Trump said he will impose the 25% tariffs on Canada. Well, they got till February 1st to get their act together. Wow. Canada and Mexico. He said to impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico beginning February 1st. Made the announcement as he signed executive orders. Wow. We're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada. Man, oh man, oh man. And the portrait of General Milley has been removed from the Pentagon. Yep. Decision was an early salvo by the administration against a military that Trump has assailed for a variety of perceived offenses. Well, they are actual offenses, Helen Cooper and Eric Schmidt. The Pentagon on Monday removed a portrait of General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, from a corridor of the building filled with paintings of all his predecessors. The decision to take down the portrait was an early salvo by the new administration. The now retired General Milley went up last week and the last day of the Biden administration, less than 2 hours after Trump took office. Pentagon officials had it taken down. Trump called Milley a woke train wreck. Yep. Complained in particular about the general's call to his Chinese counterpart during the waning weeks of Trump's first term as president. And a post on Truth Social called the so egregious that in times gone by the punishment would have been death. Yep. But he got his preemptive pardon, so he won't be punished for his crimes. Well, Donald Trump announces the purge of 1,000 Biden appointees. You're fired. Trump announces purge 1,000 appointees from Biden's time, starting with celebrity chef Jose Andres and embattled retired General Mark Milley. The new commander-in-chief fired off the official notice of dismissal for 4 Biden appointees in a midnight social media post, bluntly warning that his team were hunting down even more to throw out of office. Our first day in the White House is not over yet, he announced. Let this serve as official notice of dismissal of these 4 individuals, with many more coming soon. You're fired, he wrote, recycling his catchphrase from The Apprentice. First to be booed was Milley, given a preemptive pardon by Biden. He's been fired now. Wow. Jose Andres, Brian Hook, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and Mark Milley all fired. Gone. Senate Armed Services Committee has sent the nomination of Pete Hegseth to the floor of the Senate now, a 14-3 vote to advance his nomination. So if he got through that, he's probably going to make it. The Lake and Riley Act has passed the Senate. A vote is 64-35. 12 Democrats supported the bill. 33 Democrats should be disbarred, removed, kicked out of the Senate for their hatred of America, along with 2 independents, so-called fake independents who are actually Democrats in disguise. Lake and Riley. 200 migrants, these are criminal alien invaders whose CBP-1 appointments were today, were turned off. We turned off the American Invasion Act. That would be CBP-1, the American Invasion Act, which taught foreign nationals how to invade America, lie to us, and claim asylum here, and then get privileges and eventually get citizenship and learn how to vote. This destruction of America, the CBP-1 app, is gone, and 200 criminal alien invaders are at the U.S.-Mexico border, and they say they're not going anywhere. 200 criminal alien invaders who had their CBP-1 immigration appointments canceled when Trump became president refused to leave this San Isidro border checkpoint until they're seen. We had an appointment for tomorrow at 1 p.m., said Erica Ramirez, who traveled from southern Mexico with her 24-year-old son, his wife, and their young children in the hopes of escaping rampant crime in their hometown. Mexico is 1,000 miles long. Southern Mexico, go to Mexico City. Go to Tijuana. Go to Juarez. It's safe there. You have no business coming to America. There are safe spaces in Mexico. Screw you. We've been waiting for an appointment for 11 months. I don't give a flying flip. We will keep waiting here until we get our appointment. Well, good luck for you. You're a Mexican national. You're allowed to be in Mexico. You don't have a right to be here. Ramirez and her family among scores of asylum seekers, fake asylum seekers, no basis for asylum whatsoever from Mexico. Mexico is not a tyrannical government. Mexico doesn't politically oppress its citizens. Mexico doesn't oppress people based on religious, ethnic, social, religious, or sexual orientation issues. So you have no basis for asylum in this country whatsoever. None whatsoever. Stay the fuck out. Wow. 43,000 criminal alien invaders were let in this country per month through that app. Unbelievable. It was introduced in January of 2023. That means that 500,000 in 2023, 500,000 in 2024 got in this country illegitimately. Okay, look, Tottenham, I warned you, you got a timeout. Knock it off. Well, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, has really unleashed her budget, $252 billion budget for the state of New York. New taxes and fees. We don't know about that. But take a look at the budget of New York. This is the state of New York. In 2022, Andrew Cuomo's budget was $193 billion. Her budget in 2023 was $216 billion, then $227, then $233. Now it's $252 billion. $252 billion. Are you serious? This is what demon rats do. They spend money. And New York isn't safer. It isn't better. It isn't a happier place. It's just money stolen from taxpayers. Unbelievable. That is $59 billion more than what the budget was in 2022. Gee, many crickets. Unbelievable. So that means that is a 31% increase in the budget under her administration in just 4 years. They increased their budget by 31% in 4 years. My pay didn't go up by 31%. How are people supposed to keep up with that? All right, I asked Tottenham to behave himself. Now I'm going to tell Jan Fillion and Smee again to behave yourself too. Stop it. You're all going to get spanked here shortly. You're all going to get spanked. Enough of the nonsense in the chat. Gee, many crickets. Well, Biden did one of his most infamous commutations, and this is for cop killer, FBI killer, Leonard Peltier. The Native American activist is in poor health, 80 years of age, nearly blind, claimed he didn't get a fair trial, but when you execute 2 FBI agents, I'm not sure how you didn't get a fair trial. Member of the Turtle Mountain Band of the Chippewa had been serving 2 life sentences in the federal penitentiary in Florida for the 1975 executions of agents Ronald Williams and Jack Kohler during a shootout at the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. Yeah, my interesting thing for me is, why are Chippewa living in South Dakota? The Chippewa are from the East Coast. I guess Andrew Jackson, the first Democratic president from the Democratic Party, we can blame him that. Chippewas are from the Midwest, not South Dakota. So anyway, yeah, we can blame Democrats for that. Defiant Long Islanders are not bowing to wokeness, folks. Embracing the Chiefs and Warriors mascots as New York State threatens them to pull funding over offensive team names. 2 Long Island communities are embracing their schools' Native American-themed team names and history despite the woke mandate. Residents say it's ridiculous that holding onto tradition may mean losing state aid. The Massapequa Chiefs and the Wangta Warriors have no plans to change their names or imagery by a government-mandated June deadline, as locals in Nassau County hamlets are defiantly wearing their team gear and refusing to bow to what they call a tone-deaf attempt at cancel culture. It's just about erasing history. That's the problem with cancel culture, said Matt Susko, president of the Wantagh Museum and Wantagh Preservation Society. I can't believe that it's actually coming to our hometown and going into the classrooms. How do you explain this to an 8 or 9-year-old? The 2 Native American named towns, which are fighting the forthcoming ban tooth and nail in court, are among 13 school districts being forced to change their traditional names after funding threats from the New York Board of Regents in April 2023. Prideful Long Islanders find there's nothing offensive about the names and imagery they say honor an epic legacy unique to their shores. Al La Quinta, a former UFC star turned Wantagh-based retailer, says it's infuriating to think about ditching the warrior way of his alma mater. It makes no sense. That's what's so cool about Long Island, that it has this history. Susko, 46, said Wantagh's logo shows Chief Wantagh, a Sachem leader who settled the region in the mid-1600s. He reiterated the mascot's face was historically accurate. It's identical to the actual portrait we have in the museum. To say that's offensive is incorrect. State Senator Steve Rhodes is also adamant about preserving Wantagh's legacy in his district. This month, he introduced 2 bills to exempt the Wantagh schools from the ban and help protect other districts. It's part of who we are, and it's a celebration of our heritage. He called it a shame that the state education department simply wants to stamp out local legacy rather than use it as a teachable moment. Yep. Wantagh Warriors. Once a chief, always a chief. Yep. Joe Diso, far right, a 52-year-old father in Massapequa, pointed out that the term chief is used in other contexts, like the corporate world and law enforcement. Exactly. Going to continue to fight. Well, wokeness is trying to destroy Native American culture, and they're succeeding in some places. Not everywhere, though. Right. Mayor Eric Adams scrambled to get to the inauguration to lick the boots of Donald Trump, but he was put in the overflow space. He's in the room I would have been in. Eric Adams raced to D.C. in the wee hours of Monday to attend the inauguration, but we hear he was relegated to overflow space once he arrived. A political insider told Page 6 of the New York Post that while other politicians, including New York's own Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and Hillary Clinton, mixed and mingled with bigwigs in the main room, eagle-eyed observers noticed one New Yorker noticeably absent in the room. The swearing-in took place. Indeed, Adams was photographed in the overflow area sitting with Pastor Mark Burns, Mighty Ducks star turned Bitcoin billionaire Brock Pierce, and Yaakov Fitchen, the head of the Alliance for Global Cooperation. So Eric Adams got pushed. MSNBC actors Rachel Maddow, I mean anchors. I said actors. Well, I mean actors. Actors Rachel Maddow and Joyless Reed went off the deep end while covering the inauguration, both aghast at the prospect of a Democratic elected president making good on his policy promises that decisively swept him into office. How is this happening? Rachel Maddow asked incredulously at the sight of Department of Homeland Security nominee Kristi Noem seated beside Apple CEO Tim Cook at the inauguration. How is this happening? Why are people with tons of money up on the dais with cabinet nominees and family members? She asked, apparently forgetting that billionaires supported former President Kamala Harris 2-1 over Trump and donated $1 billion to her campaign. Rachel Maddow. Reed was also deep in her feelings during the panel, asserting that Trump's return laid bare on fundamental flaws with America's democratic institutions. Joyless Reed said, I believe that this idea of the institutions, which the Bidens clearly believe in, have been completely exposed by this election. Oh my goodness, joyless read. Well, CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, they all rushed out with their fake fact checkers to question Donald Trump, always leaving out the context. This is their most important story. Fact check by Daniel Dale. Trump made more than 20 false claims in his inauguration day remarks. Well, fact check on Daniel Dale. Most of what he writes is simple shit here. He lies about stuff and misrepresents and misleads the reader. Trump talking about other countries not having birthright citizenship, he wasn't talking about that. What he was talking about is America's the only country that lets people have anchor babies. That's the bottom line there. That's the bottom line. Well, Costco refusing to back off on its racist policies of diversity, equity, and inclusion is being attacked with a strike by the unions. Couldn't come to a better company. Teamsters union members working at Costco warehouse across the country voted to authorize a strike with more than 85% of members in favor of hitting the picket lines. The union represents 18,000 Costco employees nationally. Our members have spoken loud and clear. Costco must deliver a fair contract or they'll be held accountable, Teamsters General President Sean O'Brien said in a press release Sunday. Now, remember, Sean O'Brien is the guy who decided Teamsters weren't going to endorse any political candidate, which led union members to vote for Donald Trump of their free choice, not being pressured or having the knuckles smashed by the union like they usually do. So Trump will probably get on board here and help the union. Well, Kamala Harris, who's had nothing to do for several weeks, has ignored the plight of her home state of California. And now she has time to go hand out food after giving them cold shoulder. Newly unemployed Kamala Harris and second gentleman Doug, where's the maid, where's the nanny Emhoff, are slinking back to Los Angeles, where they will pass out food to wildfire victims after ignoring their plight for 2 weeks. Yep, there you go. She expected to fly home to her home state with an all-female Air Force crew, the first of which to ever operate a C-33. She'll visit a fire station where she'll help dole out food to victims after ignoring them for 2 weeks while in office. Pennsylvania Democrats are calling on the Republicans to raise minimum wage. What can you pass on the minimum wage? I think that's a conversation that needs to be out in public, said House Majority Leader Matt Bradford. I disagree. And this is where I should be in the Pennsylvania legislature right now, and I'd be dealing with this. The minimum wage, the lowest hourly wage employees can legally pay, has been remained unchanged at $7.25 an hour since 2010, when the federal minimum wage was last increased. We operate in the red, yet we pay all of our employees at least 20% more, if not 25%, or double that wage as a minimum wage at our veterans organization. We don't need a minimum wage. We pay what the market will bear. This is an interference in the free marketplace. Governor Josh Shapiro, little Josh Shapiro, the election cheat, also increased the minimum wage, said that increasing the minimum wage will be top of mind when he introduces his budget next month. His first two budgets include increases in minimum wages. To strengthen the economy, we need to raise the wages. We need to finally pass the minimum wage increase in Pennsylvania, which means you take money out of my pocket for restaurants, for bars, for travel, because you're raising wages. Well, you don't raise my checks, so you're just stealing from me. Stupid nonsense. Let the market decide. And then instead of you artificially setting a wage for people, I can decide whether I want to go to that place because their food's too expensive and they'll have to compete. They'll have to find a way to save money. And so they come up with the best wage. Nearly 68,000 Pennsylvania workers earned minimum wage in 2023, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industries Minimum Wage Board. Another 800,000 earned between $7 and $15 an hour. Those earning minimum wage or less were likely to be female, white, and between 20 and 24. There you go. So these are new people in the workplace. So what's the problem? Unbelievable. Even for a single adult without children, that's not enough, says Lathrop. Well, I don't really care what you got to say. So there you have it, folks. Now I've got the executive orders. We can talk about those. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Let's go with this list here. It's quite a list here. So 119 people still here. Thanks for that. Okay, let me run through this list of things. We got a whole bunch of crap here to talk about. So let me get my glasses on here. Trump has won the stump. Okay, so President Trump executive orders day one. Pardon for 1,500 January 6 defendants and 6 commutations for prisoners. Proclamation guaranteeing states protection against invasion, invoking executive orders related to the ongoing invasion at the southern border. Ordering the securing of the southern border by various methods, including building a physical wall and ending the CBP-1 app. A declaration of a national emergency at the southern border. A realignment of the United States refugee admission policy to better align with American principles and interests. In order to reevaluate and realign U.S. foreign aid. Protections from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats regarding the southern border, an executive order entitled Protecting the American People Against Invasion in response to the unprecedented admission of illegal aliens at the southern border, An executive order ending birthright citizenship, which will be contested in the courts, and it is problematic potentially. An executive order reforming hiring in the federal government based on merit. Our country is going to be based on merit again. Clarification of the military's role in protecting U.S. territorial integrity. Creation of the Presidential Advisory Commission, Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. An executive order unleashing Alaska's potential, unlocking the ANWR Strategic Reserve. Protection for Americans from foreign advisory-controlled applications such as TikTok. Reforms to the federal workforce. A memorandum for resolving the backlog of security clearances left over from the Biden administration. Holding former government officials accountable for election interference and unlawful disclosure of sensitive information. A memorandum restoring accountability to career senior executive service, SES officials. A declaration of national energy emergency. An order unleashing energy production, easing the permitting processes and regulatory systems to ensure efficient energy production. Withdrawal of the United States from the World Health Organization. Protections for women against radical gender ideologies. 2 genders. And keeping men, biological men, out of women's sports. Martin Luther King Day proclamation. A memorandum declaring the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, global tax deal. No force or effect in the United States. That's one of the most important. Putting an end to the radical and wasteful DEI programs and policies of the federal government. Yep. An America First Policy Directive, Secretary of State. Protecting Southern California's water access from radical environmentalism. A restoration of the death penalty and public safety protection. A memorandum promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. Declaring cartels as terrorist organizations. Temporary withdrawal of all offshore wind leasing and an order to review government leasing and permitting practices for wind power projects. An order defining the organization for the National Security Council and subcommittees. Reestablishing the name Mount McKinley and changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and an order redirecting the federal government to put the nation first in international environmental deals. In addition to that, Donald Trump also fired a number of people, and he also signed an executive order returning the 8,000 military who were discharged for refusing to take the experimental jab. It's wow. The beard is shrinking. It's been cut. Right, that's what's going on. Okay, let me see what's going on in the chat over here. Okay, so can a person receive a pardon even if they have not been charged? No, Colin, it is novel to say the least. Being pardoned for a crime you've not been accused of or charged or convicted of. This is preemptive strike. Basically, it's fascinating because let me show you this. This is it's over here. No, where's it at? Somewhere I've got it here. That's not it. I didn't get rid of it, I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I've got it here. Let me see if this is it. No, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's from the New York Times. So let me put this over here. From the New York Times, okay? This is what this is a comical op-ed. The New York Times attacks Donald Trump's January 6th pardons and commutations as opening act of contempt. Yet it barely mentions, he does mention what Biden did by preemptively giving pardons for crimes that haven't been investigated or prosecuted. This is unbelievable. So this is just how dishonest the New York Times is. So here we go. New York Times, get out of jail free. January 6th, Philip Sean Grill. Oh, we don't care about that. Okay. 3 years. Okay. Trump's going to pardon me anyways. Okay. Presidential pardon for... The mass pardon sends a message to the country and the world that violating the law in support of Mr. Trump and his movement will be rewarded, especially when considered alongside his previous pardons of his advisors. It loudly proclaims from the nation's highest office that the rioters did nothing wrong, that violence is a perfectly legitimate form of political expression, and that no price need be paid by those who seek to disrupt the sacred constitutional transfer of power. That's utter horseshit. That's not the message that it sends. The message that it sends is that the kangaroo courts that abused judicial prudence and jurisprudence against citizens for misdemeanor offenses, which were a result of the negligence of Nancy Pelosi, Muriel Bowser, and the Capitol Police and the D.C. Metro Police, that these people will be treated in the most harsh fashion. It's utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Putting grandmothers in prison who didn't even enter the building. Yeah, and then we know the fakeness. We know the FBI had no interest in the photographs and the video of the perpetrators. You can see in my video, which is still on this channel, the January 6th summary. I put a 45-minute video up of actual coverage of the events on January 6th right there on the Capitol and the grounds, filming it as a journalist. I've got an instigator who's trying to get the crowd to attack the police. I offered that photograph and the video to the FBI as a former counterintelligence agent and officer someone that is trained to observe these things, someone that investigates these people, someone that hunts down these people that misbehave. You would think they might have even the passing interest in what I share with them. Never heard from the Federal Bureau of Incompetence. Why? Because I didn't enter the building. I didn't enter the Capitol grounds on the steps there, and they couldn't prosecute me, so they had no interest in my information, leading to someone who was intentionally trying to start trouble. They didn't care about that, which leads me to believe that that person was in the employ of the federal government. I don't really think that's the case, but what else? What other conclusion could a reasonable person come to based on what happened? They weren't interested in the facts. We don't care about the facts. We just want to create a false narrative about January 6th, and that's what they did. That's what they did. The reality is this. Donald Trump said 10,000 yesterday. He's obviously tired. Kash Patel released before the events. Kash Patel told the public that the Pentagon has offered 20,000 guardsmen. And the reason the Pentagon offered 20,000 guardsmen was because in the days leading up to the inauguration, tourists were physically assaulted by Black Lives Matter terrorists in the streets of Washington, D.C. Why? Not because they were Trump supporters, but because they were white. Should have been a civil rights violation, should have been a prosecution against the Black Lives Matter black supremacists who beat Trump supporters and tourists on the streets of Washington, D.C., like the brown shirt neo-Nazis, the Sturm Abteilung. That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. But Mira Bowser encouraged it, ignored it. Kash Patel and the Department of Defense offered 20,000 guardsmen through Donald Trump in the days leading up. He had told us that on January 5th. He said it publicly. We've offered 20,000 guardsmen. This District of Columbia has turned us down. There were no cops. Just like the Die Hard movie in New York when Bruce Willis John McClane grabs a kid. Hey, what, do you want to go to juvie for stealing a Snickers bar? Look around, man. The cops are into some shit. It's like Christmas. Yeah, the cops were into some shit. Not present. The D.C. National Guard has 3,800 soldiers. D.C. is right there. Most of those guardsmen live within a half hour, an hour of the army, whereas in a lot of other places, people come from a long way to do their guard duty. But D.C., they're mostly all there. 3,800 and a two-star general. The Capitol Police have 2,800 officers. Watch the footage. Tell me how many cops you see present. There were cops inside the building, but the physical presence to serve as a deterrent wasn't there. The police put up bicycle racks as barriers. This is the true story of January 6th. They put up bicycle racks. That's not a barrier. No Jersey barriers. The place wasn't fenced off. There was snow fencing. It was laying on the ground. It wasn't even installed for snow fencing. There were no signs saying that no one could go on the public ground of the Capitol building. They put up a television tower for the cameras for the inauguration, and it was left unsecured so that idiots could climb up on it and throw things down or look down on the cops below. Stupid. No snipers in position. Obviously, they were there later, but they weren't initially. Bicycle racks. No barriers. Cops standing there without firearms. No gun. Nightsticks. Pepper spray. And bicycle helmets. Plastic bicycle helmets. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, back to the chat here. Chair throwing is a standard sport in politicians and council meetings. Yeah, I know that, Monet. I can ask him. Andile Lungisa, we could ask him about that. Colin Hornby said, can a person... Okay, I already answered that, Colin. Totten says, I'm sorry that I'm too compassionate. I want to challenge just my non-binary people. Blame my Christian values. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Tottenham. Tom Smith, comment there. Brian Lawrenson, Tony Nush. Ken Aaronson's here. Hey, Ken, how's it going? I only disagree that others have called me names. I have not really telling you. Free speech is a pillar of this channel. It is not. Okay, Tottenham, you don't have free speech. Nobody has free speech here, okay? It's a private platform, YouTube, and you're subject to the rules of YouTube. And as a subset of that, this is my channel. You're subject to good behavior rules on my channel. I can, at any time, suspend somebody's access. As simple as that. YouTube does it to my channel. I can do it to my viewers. So you don't have free speech. However, I do believe in free speech, and I allow people to speak freely. But when people intentionally troll and try to cause discord, they will be warned, and you were warned, and you were put in a timeout. So free speech? Nah. Bernard had Trudeau step in the right direction. Yeah, he's going to go too. Don't be afraid to block. You have a right to do so. Okay. My Vincian just couldn't take it. Next, you're calling me white and banishing me. Okay. Mexico closed the ports to illegal boats. They're now screwed. Huh? I don't remember that story. Talk about draining the swamp. Yeah, they are. He's draining the swamp this time. He's draining the swamp. Yep. Tony says, my chat's nice and clean. Ah, my goodness. What else we got here? What do we want to see next from Trump? Ah, well, we want to see my appointment as the ambassador to South Africa. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Mulder says Chris Trump must take $100,000 Mexican grant for every Mexican asylum seeker trying to enter. You'll see how quick. Yeah, no, I got you. Arc Precision's here. Welcome to you. Garrett Gillage. Vinance doing Angola backtrack. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Is he doing it again? He did it once already. It's all about the rewrite of history and context of heritage. Exactly. Yeah, Charles, why are these people always surprised when Trump does what he says? Unlike Obama. Well, Obama tried to do what he said he was going to do, too. He was going to fundamentally change America, and he did it. Yeah, Mad Cow and Bad Reads will be interviewed. Dumb Lemon Dog having a feast. Yeah, nobody cares about Don Lemonhead. Yep. Boy, okay. How is your newly elected rep voting on that? Shapiro needs to go. I don't know. It hasn't come to a vote on the floor yet. So, Tottenham says, here's the problem with the mega rich. They lobby to reduce being taxed. This reduces GDP. They also hoard wealth that shrinks the economy, and they also loan to the state, a death spiral. Okay, Tottenham, your argument makes no sense whatsoever. Number one, you say that they lobby to reduce being taxed. Well, everybody lobbies being reduced tax. I've lobbied to have my taxes reduced, and I'm not wealthy, or certainly not mega wealthy, and certainly not wealthy. So nobody wants to pay taxes. So what? So they lobby to reduce taxes. Good on them. Government shouldn't be taxing us, stealing money. It's their money. You act like it belongs to the government. They hoard wealth. Well, that's their prerogative. People have been hoarding wealth from time immemorial. Why do you think we're digging up caches of gold coins all over the UK all the time? and Viking coin stashes in Scandinavia and in the Baltic states, always finding these things because they hoarded wealth. People hoarded wealth, and that's their prerogative. But the wealthy don't hoard wealth. That's nonsense. Elon Musk hasn't hoarded his wealth. He's taken his wealth and invested it from PayPal into Tesla, into SpaceX, into Starlink. The list goes on and on. He isn't hoarding his wealth. Amazon's Jeff Bezos took his wealth and invested in the growth of Amazon, which has created hundreds of thousands of jobs in a global colossus. He hasn't hoarded his wealth. That's utter nonsense. Bill Gates has donated almost $50 billion of his wealth to philanthropic organizations to combat malaria. I don't like Bill Gates, but he's done that. That's utter nonsense. You're just talking shit, Tottenham. You don't have anything to back it up. They also loan to the state. Okay, what's wrong with loaning money to the state? You need money for the state. They should get it from somewhere. So why not loan money to the state if it comes looking for money? That just doesn't make any sense, man. Mayor Bass and California folks have voted Marxists into positions. Exactly. Forgot to check. Exactly. Marxists are in power. Lizard King, I can do anything, says Brian. Order in the court. Yep. Okay. So this thing jumped ahead on me. Let me go back here. Marxists are pros at utilizing propaganda. They are. Second Amendment supposed to allow self-protection from enemies, foreign and domestic. The Second Amendment protects us against the government overreach. That is the last line of defense against an abusive government. That's why it's there. And the founders recognized that. They knew that was the case. That's why they came out. Capitol Police were hugely ill-equipped and poorly organized January 6th. Fact. Are you going to mention the pipe bomber? No, Holden. There's nothing to the pipe bomber story. It's utter nonsense. They didn't tell that story. They covered that up until they wanted to use it. So what about the pipe bomber? Holden, you can mention it. We can discuss it. Now, see, Tottenham, now you're contributing in a useful fashion with your questions and comments now. Different definitions, some overlaps. Also, socialist Democrats are not against capitalism. More oversight is what they push for. No. More oversight, more control. They want a piece of that. They want a piece of capitalism. Joan Cherry, welcome. Every society should have a degree of socialist policies integrated with capitalist ones. It's how most successful countries protect their poor and unfortunate. I disagree, Stinky. Nope. Let the free market reign. It's not up to the government to take care of the poor. It's up to people in the community. It's up to faith-based organizations, up to community organizations to do that. We have a food bank and a charitable organization right here locally that does amazing stuff for people. It's not government funded. It's all donated. All people donate their time. A lot of people. And people donate their resources, and it does a fantastic job. And by the way, I think the place employs like 30 people full-time on top of that. They do fantastic work for the poor in this area. A lot of people who have not been successful economically. It is not up to the government to take my money. It's up to me to voluntarily give my money and or my time to help others in need. It's not the government's responsibility to steal from me to enrich other people, because all that does is lead to sloth and generational welfare. That's what it does. Yep, it's a bad idea. Government should not be the one that is the one taking care of others. It should be up to communities to do it. And it was working, seeing only virtue signals. Snow in Louisiana. Oh, it must be that climate change, Shawnee. In my area, the majority of folks sneaking across aren't Mexican. Exactly. Yeah, they're coming from all over the world. Africa, the crazy stands, Asia. Yep, that's correct. Well, Erica, that's the first time I heard your grandfather was a Nazi. That's interesting. Never watched a full inauguration for any country. Yesterday I watched the full Trump. It was fantastic, Cyber Rags. I really enjoyed it too. I usually ignore them, but yesterday was pretty darn cool. Why does this thing keep jumping? Okay, there we go. There you go. All right. Nick's still here. Bernard? Oh, hell yes, Chris, says Bernard. Free speech permits you and me to tell anyone, including the Prime Minister or President, to get off the bus and Foxtrot Oscar. Exactly, Richard Kuhn. You might be right. All I want is someone to hug me and say, here's $10 million, says Tony. Well, I'll take that. Even the Canadian. I'd take 10 million Canadian. Elizabeth Kruger watched the inauguration yesterday. Thank you for that. You notice I had to switch to Twitter. Bill Gates hosted a group called themselves the Good Club. All right, well, good on them. Okay? I don't care for Bill Gates, but, it's his money. He stole it from me. He can use it how he wants, however he wants. Boring company. What's that? Microsoft? Pipe bomb is a red herring and it's just a track. Exactly. That's why I'm not talking about it, Charles. Holden says the Capitol Police didn't seem to mind about the pipe bomb by their vehicle. Imagine food banks here. VBS would live. Yeah, exactly. Now, all the worldwide laundering of U.S. taxpayer money must come home to benefit America first. There you go. There was a deliberate plan implemented on January 6th and would appear to have been perpetrated by the FBI with backing of the Democrat government and the District of Columbia and the Capitol Police. Bernard says, if you know of a crime that's being committed, then you are complicit to the crime. South Africa's government is corrupt and it's governed. So paying those taxes is not complicit to a crime. Well, you have no choice. The state has the sole authority on lethal force. So, So here's my question. You don't have 20,000 followers on X like YouTube, yet 600 people. Actually, it was 900, Arctic. 900. Let me check it now and see what the total is. I think it was 900 last time I looked. Twitter. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. So my profile, let me go to that post. Oh, man, I posted so much crap last night, so I got to go way down. Yeah, there's talk about the 51 people. So here they are. Let me show you that real quick. That's the 51 former officials who have had their security clearances taken. James Clapper, Brennan. Yeah, these are people that don't deserve a clearance based on their behavior. General Hayden had his clearance taken away. Yeah, none of these. Why do these people have clearances? They're not in the government. They're not working for contractors that provide government services. But all these people who committed lies and just lied about events. Anyway, let's go down and try to find my stream from yesterday. By the way, let me just share how many posts I did. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to jump to my account, okay? So this is what I did on Twitter for last night and a little bit today. You're fired. Trump sacks Coast Guard Admiral Linda Fagan. General Milley's portrait removed from the Pentagon. That's 15 hours ago. Trump, the smears continue as CNN focuses on a select few to demonize the rest of the Trump pardons. And then the president signs the executive order spelling science for the political left. Boy and girl, defining that. Who didn't get a preemptive pardon? Rashida Tlaib, who openly supports terror groups in Gaza. Mitch McConnell, who betrayed his oath to America as a U.S. Senator. Christopher Wray didn't get a preemptive pardon, who weaponized the FBI against Americans. Also, Adam Schiff, serial liar, didn't get a pardon. And then Biden releases criminals. Trump frees political prisoners. Before Tom Homan and Donald Trump can even get a handle on our lawless borders, a border agent is murdered by an illegal immigrant in Vermont. The northern border, which I've been warning about, President renames Mount McKinley and the Gulf of America. Openly admitting treason, 42% of federal bureaucrats plan to betray the Trump administration. Deep state anti-American forces begin to flee for the exits. Obsessively addicted to terminating life until the end, former Planned Parenthood president died at the age of 67 from cancer. President Trump issues executive order harnessing founding era Aliens Enemies Act of 1798 to go after Trenda de Agua. President Trump pushes the envelope to challenge birthright citizenship. Bluster negotiating. President Trump threatens to take back the Panama Canal. The United States withdraws from the World Health Organization. America loathing leftist resistance strikes just minutes after Trump is sworn in. The dingy gray-lady New York Times gets busy fact-checking President Trump. Among his final acts of defiance, corrupt Joe Biden issues a commutation for cop killer Leonard Peltier. Trump closes American Invasion app, corrupt Biden regime. The invasion stops now. The CBP One app is closed. Trump signs executive order on TikTok. Trump issues pardon and commutation of 1,500. Clearly feeling phased and exerted by pressure by Trump, Copenhagen abandons its racist Orwellian nanny state policy in Greenland. ACLU, American Criminal Liberties Union, is upset America wants to guard its sovereignty. The Senate passes the Lake and Riley Act, 64 to 35. Trump asks the career diplomats to step aside. Among those not in attendance, Ramaphosa not invited. President Trump departs Capital One Center for the White House. Then day one, America back to its path of glory. Trump's first cabinet member is in. Marco Rubio gets a unanimous 99-0 vote for Secretary of State. With a stroke of a pen, Trump obliterates a raft of Biden executive orders. President Trump sends criminals in the DOJ, NIH, CDC, and FBI a loud and clear message to obey the First Amendment, not censor Americans. He withdraws the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord. CNN hate wankers rush off to smear him before he even departs the stage. President Trump promises to expand territory in his inauguration speech with Panama, and then down here finally. So that says 400, but that's not right. That says 400. See, look, this is bullshit. That's bullshit. He has 904 views. Okay, there you go. 904 views. There it is. So that is 904 views. That's all the stuff I did on. That's what I did yesterday. I was on Twitter and Gitter and Truth Social and Gab and LinkedIn. So that all went up yesterday. Yeah, no, Arctic, I agree with you. I don't know what's going on. How does it? Here's my question. You don't have 20,000 followers on X like YouTube yet. 600 people watch your broadcast. Exactly. But I didn't gain anybody. I mean, I only gained like a handful of subscribers from that. So let me see my profile. Let me go back there. 2,088. I think I gained like 20 subscribers from all those people coming here. So, yep, or followers. Yep. Oh, I didn't know that. The best music. Trump signed like 200, James. 200. We haven't even gone into all of them. Cap police chief was not actually involved in the plan, was kept in the dark by his intel person who subsequently got a cushy job at UCLA. Exactly. Why do the 51 ex-officials have access anyway? Well, if they do contract work, I have a clearance. I still have a highest level clearance, which was a surprise to me. I thought it was downgraded when I retired, but it was kept in place. Like I said, I'm part of a unique small group of people, a few hundred or a few thousand officials, a few hundred I think it is, who were granted this my clearance to continue. So I'm not sure why, but maybe because it's just so expensive to restart it. But I do contracting work, which requires me to have a clearance, and therefore, yeah, so I still have it. So maybe they were doing clearance contract work, but yeah, they don't need their clearances. So, yep. Horribly hobbled by people in this government. No chance of that happening. We'll see. I think it's still going to happen. Gina Hospital didn't get a pardon either. Yeah, there you go. Same on YouTube, dark mode. Huh? Use dark mode, better for my eyes. Well, the light mode's better for my eyes. Biden didn't ban drilling in the Gulf of America, just a thought. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He banned that when he first became president. The Gulf of Mexico was put off limits. All new leases were stopped in the Gulf of Mexico back in 2021 or 2022. Yep. Nick was up early, saw that every time and watched the feed. Thank you for that, Nick. Yep. Had a top secret clearance in the SATF. Everything I handled had top secret. Yeah, well, that's because he get carried away. Most of the stuff that's labeled top secret doesn't even need to be secret, just confidential at most. No Biden ban drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. I just said that. I just said he banned it in the Gulf of Mexico. James Brown. Hey, I feel good. Germans are good people. They can't be blamed for what their government did. Yeah, well, some of them are part of it, so some can be blamed. Just like some can blame for America's atrocities against the Seminole, the Cherokee, and other Native American groups when President Andrew Jackson sent them on the Trail of Tears. I do feel good, says James. That's awesome. I like your tartan avatar. What's that all about? Okay. Tottenham, did you give up? Did you give up? You started to contribute nicely there, and you're not chatting anymore. Anyway, 100 people here now, 122 likes. Hit that like button, folks. That's pretty cool. We got 102. So good to see. Yeah, look, Arctic, it is weird, isn't it? Here's the other thing, Arctic. So this is what always leads me to believe that a lot of these numbers are fudged, especially on channels like mine. Now, maybe they're not. Maybe things are just the way they really are. I don't know. But please explain to me how politicians I've never met know who I am. Please explain to me how John Dobson knew who I was when I'd never met him, the coach for the Stormers. Please explain to me how everywhere I go in South Africa, people come up to me and go, hey, it's a colonel. Hey, how you doing? I love your stuff. I don't even know who they are. Every time I'm there. I forgot this. My trip in 2022, I forgot all about this. I remembered it yesterday. I'm getting old, senile here. Woo, I'm getting the Joe Biden. My mind's going blank now. Couldn't think of Babito Deo Karan's name earlier. It's like, ooh, my mind's going blank. I'm going to have to start doing some Prevagen to get my memory back. But when I went on my flight to South Africa in 2022, I was talking to people about why I was going to South Africa on the flight in Atlanta, about what's going on. And on the flight in Atlanta, I was telling these people about this as we were boarded. They're asking me questions because I was doing something on my YouTube channel, and somebody asked me, and then people started asking me questions while we're boarding. Boarding process can take a long time, and so they're talking to me, and they all thought I was full of crap. I'm like, no, look, I do YouTube now that I'm retired from the Army, and I have a lot of people who follow me in South Africa, and people keep telling me to come to South Africa. People know who I am. I said, I'm not really sure how true that is. I mean, I have a nice audience there, but who knows? And I said that. And while I'm sitting there, among the last people getting on the plane, a couple people came. I go, hey, Chris Wyatt, it's the Colonel, sitting in my seat. My hand to God. That happened on the flight. I told you guys about that a couple years ago. I forgot all about that. I mean, that was pretty wild. How is it every time in the middle of nowhere, in Eiserfontein, I was recognized, 3 times? 3 times. It was 2 times. It was 2 times in Eiserfontein. Just out of the blue. People recognize me. I don't know who these people are. Wow. Yeah. No, it's pretty wild. And then the one that was one of the most heartwarming is when I was in Parle, because that day in Parle, I come from Wellington, where what was I doing in Wellington? I don't remember. Anyway, and I went to Parle. I wanted to eat in this restaurant, which was a little pricey, but it was nice. I was going to sit down, but they had no Wi-Fi. I needed the Wi-Fi to go online on my laptop. To update my website and do some things. And I couldn't, so someone stole their fiber, so they had no Wi-Fi. So, and they weren't open yet anyway. So I said, okay, all right, I'll thanks. And I drove down the street and went to Rocco Mama's. I parked at Rocco Mama's. I had to turn around because I was going west to east. I had to turn around, park, and I got out of the car, and this guy and his, it turned out to be his daughter, a young lady. We're getting in an SUV, and they're behind me, and they just sort of pulled forward a little bit. I went inside. I came back out. They were still there, and I went in the boot to get some things. So I kind of paid attention to what was going on behind me, and they backed up, and they got out of the car, and they go, hey, you're the rugby guy. You're the Colonel. I said, yeah. Oh, we love your show. I mean, that was really cool. I like that. But everywhere I go, the only place I haven't recognized is Kailicha. Nobody, or in Mondenberg. Nobody recognized me in Mondenberg. Make American rugby great again. I'm all about that. Yeah, I also stopped exploration. Yeah, no, he stopped it all. You're right, Holden. That's correct. DC Bureau of Prisons is slow. Yeah, no, they did. Apparently, they didn't release them last night. They only had 2 guys out, so there's going to be hell to pay. People are going to be fired over this. These people are illegitimately in prison now. They no longer have a basis to hold them in prison. DC Bureau of Prisons is going to go through some serious issues here because they're funded by the federal government. So they're making big mistakes screwing around with the President of the United States. Forgot to tell you we put up wanted posters of you when you leave. Really? Eric, married a German, worked in German companies all my life, says Chris Ehlers. Okay. Okay. What else you got here? All these idiots who ban drilling wonder if their wives are happy. Well, it's usually the wives that are behind it. Exactly why executive orders are not a lasting change. Again, Holden, they can be very lasting and enduring, but many of them aren't. Yep, so there you go. That's the bottom line. All right, folks, hit that like button. 125. Thanks for being here. And so there, you're up to date. The Trump executive orders are crazy, cray-cray. So many things. My ex-dad was a Nazi guard. I saw the picture, says Tony. Okay. Well, none of my parents or grandparents were Nazis. They, in fact, my grandfather on my maternal side landed at Normandy and fought across France in the Second World War. My grandfather, my paternal side, served long before that. He was in the U.S. Army from 1920 to 1926. He was a enlisted soldier, served at Bowling Airfield in D.C. Now it's Bowling Air Force Base. Bowling Airfield in D.C., where he crashed a lighter-than-air dirigible, and is one of the reasons why they no longer fly those things. Yep. Never mentioned Krugersdorp, the movie Wrong Turn, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, so there you have it. That's mine. Yeah, that's my ancestors. So, yeah, that's interesting, Tony, because the Hungarians were part of the Nazi alliance there in the Second World War. Yep, they sure were. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if Hungary had an SS unit. They probably did. I know the Estonians, Latvians, Lithuanians, Norwegians, the Danes all had SS units. The Dutch famously had an SS division. Yep. So people all over Europe were co-opted voluntarily or gang pressed into working with the Nazis and the Wehrmacht. It's a statement of fact, folks. Can't overcome that. Yeah, so while we've been sitting here, Trump's probably signed more executive orders. Let's go take a look at the news real quick. He's probably signed more. Let's look at the news real quickly here. Here are Trump's executive orders. Well, that's the New York Times. Okay. So they're not announcing anything yet. Winter storm Enzo is bringing rare snow, ice to Gulf Coast. That's what the Louisiana snow was about. Yep. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is suing Trump administration over birthright citizenship. It already starts. See, it already starts. It already starts. Wow. So, Washington Attorney General Nick Brown suing the Trump administration. It's already started, the resistance. President Trump office 24 hours before the state of Washington sued his administration. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown, himself in office for only a week, set to give details of a lawsuit against the Trump administration Tuesday morning to block the president's executive order seeking to overturn birthright citizenship. He scheduled 11 a.m. news. By the way, Trump has an announcement at 4 p.m. this afternoon. That's in 3 hours. If that holds true, I will cover that in 3 hours. And let's see if YouTube tells me that I'm using someone else's video. Wow. Brown has scheduled 11 a.m. news conference in Seattle and says, so how would YouTube know it's someone else's feed unless they've infiltrated my computer and know what my source is? Because it didn't come from YouTube. So how would they know? How would they know? Yep. Brown is one of a flurry of lawsuits to immediately challenge Trump's birthright. California joins 17 other states and the city of San Francisco announcing a lawsuit today. The American Civil Liberties Union and several immigrant rights filed a lawsuit Monday night in federal court in New Hampshire. Birthright citizenship, the idea that every person born in the United States is an American citizen, dates to 1868 when it was spelled out in the 14th Amendment. In 1898, U.S. Supreme Court affirmed the right, ruling 6-2 that a child born in the United States to Chinese immigrants' parents was a U.S. citizen. Trump's executive order money says the government will not issue documents such as passports to someone if their mother was illegally in the country and their father was not a citizen or permanent resident, or if their mother was here legally but only temporarily. Yep. The 14th Amendment was never interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born in the United States. 14th Amendment was always excluded from birthright citizenship persons who were born in the United States but not subject to jurisdiction. Exactly. Not subject to the jurisdiction. Yep. Brown called Trump's suite of first-day executive orders gravely concerning. Well, you can shove it up your rectum, Brown. And referred to several, including the attack on birthright citizenship, as not only unconstitutional in their face, but simply un-American. Yep. Former Proud Boys leader and Oath Keepers founder released after Trump offers his clemency. Former leader of the Proud Boys and founder of the Oath Keepers has been released from prison after their lengthy sentences for seditious conspiracy were wiped away by a sweeping order. Enrique Tarrio and Stuart Rhodes. By the way, Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in D.C. It wasn't even D.C., and he was convicted and sent to prison. Stewart Rhodes were two of the highest profile defendants, received some of the harshest punishments. Yep. Rhodes of Granbury, Texas was serving an 18-year prison sentence. And Tario of Miami was serving a 22-year sentence after they're convicted of orchestrating plots to stop the peaceful transfer of power, which is just fiction. That's not what they did. That's not what they did. The attorneys confirmed to the Associated Press they'd been released hours after Trump pardoned and commuted sentences and ordered dismissals. Yep. Trump also ordered Attorney General to seek the dismissal of roughly 450 cases that were still pending before judges. Wow. AP says that Trump is rewriting the history of January 6th. No, he's not. He's simply restoring order. Yep. Wow. So there you go. There you go, folks. There you go. All right, we're down to 86. I guess that Tottenham gave up. He was done trolling. Oh, yeah, Alejandro Mayorkas wasn't given I got to put Alejandro Mayorkas up. He wasn't given a pardon. So that's one guy we can go after. Yep. That's one guy we can go after, Alejandro Mayorkas. Erica's out of here tonight. Good night, Erica. All right, check out Agent Garbo. What is Agent Garbo? Dutch had 2 Nazi divisions. Okay. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Let's wrap it up here. We're over 2 hours in. Realize we're close to 100 subscribers following us. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Appreciate you being here. And Arctic, to your question about how 900 people watch my Twitter thing when I only have 2,000 subscribers, that's beyond me. It just shows how fickle this stuff can be. All right, you guys take care and have a good day. I've got a lot to do. Got to catch up on some things, and maybe make some videos. Cheers. Have a good night. God bless, and thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. America's back, baby.